Welcome back. Now we're showing hit numbers to display how much damage we're causing when we hit the enemy. Now we'd like to animate those hit numbers so that they float away as soon as they appear on the screen. Let's get started. Now I'm here in the hit number widget blueprint, and we'd like to create an animation for this hit number. So let's go into the Designer tab, and we'll go down to the bottom left in the Animations tab and click Plus Animation. Let's call this Hit Number Animation. And right away, I'm going to select Hit Number Animation, and in the Details panel, I'm going to check Is Variable so that we can access this animation as a variable. Now with Hit Number Animation selected, let's go to the Timeline tab and add a track for this animation. Now the animation will be for the hit number text, and I'm going to add a track for hit number text, and I'm going to select Transform. Now we automatically get keys for the transform values at time 0. I'm going to scrub through to 1.5 seconds, and I'm going to change the translation values of this widget. Let's take X to a negative value. I'll put it at about -250. And I'm going to bring Y up a little bit, so it's going to have a negative value as well. Let's put it at, say, -75. So this animation is going to bring this number up and to the left. Now I'm going to drag the timeline back to 0, and I'm going to add another track to this animation. So I'll go ahead and collapse the transform, and for hit number text, I'm going to click plus track, and for this one, I'm going to use render opacity. Now at 0 seconds, I'll leave it at 1, but I'm going to scrub through to 1.5 and set the render opacity to 0. That way, when this animation plays, the number will fade to 0. Let's hit play to play the animation to make sure it looks like we want it to look. I'd say that looks pretty good. So now we just need to play this animation as soon as we create the widget. Let's compile and save this and go back to Enemy BP. Right after we create the hit number widget, we're going to access this animation we just created. We called it Hit Number Animation. So let's get Hit Number Animation, drag off of that, and type Play Animation. We'll get a Play Animation node. We're going to call this right after we set Hit Text. So now, right after we've created this widget, we're going to play the animation, and we should see the number float away. Now this play animation takes a target, which is a user widget object reference. We need to pass in the user widget from create hit number widget. So let's pass that straight in there and compile and save this. Now let's test this out and see how it looks. I'm going to go to a second viewport, Alt P to play, and shoot the enemy a few times. And there we have our numbers floating away. Now I think they're fading out a little too soon, so I'm going to edit this animation just a bit. So here in our animation track for render opacity, I'm going to scrub through to about 0.5 seconds, and I'm going to set the render opacity back to 1. This way, we're starting off at 1, we're staying at 1 till 0.5, and then after 0.5, we start to fade to 0. Let's see how this looks. I think that looks a bit better. So you can tweak these animations and get them to values that you like. For example, in the transform track, if you want this number to fly up a little higher, you can set the Y to, say, -125. And if you want it to fly a little farther to the left, you can set the X to a higher negative value, such as -325. Now if we hit play, we'll see the numbers float a little farther before they fade out. So this concludes this video. We now have animated hit numbers that fly up to the left and fade out before they get destroyed. I'll see you in the next video.